There's a little cat in my seat. Are you quite comfortable there, little lady?
Okie dokie.
Damn it. Pappy's trying to work here.
She just wants some love.
She's such a diva, always hogging the limelight. Come on, you, scoot. It's time to work. Right, after that brief interruption, howdy folks. Welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles. Today's episode sponsored by GlassesUSA.com. I wish this sponsorship had come 6 months ago. So anyway, here's the story. As you probably noticed, I'm a bit of a specky four eyes. About 6 months ago, I decided I needed a new pair of glasses because the old ones were kind of coming to the end of their shelf life. And I hadn't had an eye test in about 2 years. So I went to the opticians and I got these. And these are really good, I'm very happy with them. They're Emporio Armani's. But they were bloody expensive. These frames cost me £250.
Alright.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the marketing agency that I sometimes work with said, do you want to do a GlassesUSA.com sponsorship? I said, that's no good to me. It's not GlassesUK.com, is it? They said, don't be stupid, they ship internationally. I said, alright, I'll take a look. They don't have these exact frames, but they have ones very, very similar. They're Emporio Armani's, and these ones, I don't know how well you can see, these are like kind of half frames. There's no frame around the bottom. Well, they have the other version of these that are full frames with the frames all the way around the bottom. These ones cost me £250. GlassesUSA.com, $139.
Oh my god.
And I did the currency conversion, so you don't have to. That's £107.
And I assume this is because you cut the middleman
Yeah,
there?
you cut the optician out,
Yeah.
you just go straight to the manufacturer. So I had not realised how much of a markup your optician or optometrist actually places on the frames that you buy from them. Holy. So I was kind of interested. So they said, okay, you can pick 4 or 5 sets of frames and they'll send them to you. I thought, whoa, I'm going to kick the arse out of this, get the 5 most expensive set of frames I can. Actually, I didn't. I picked out 4 sets of frames, and I'll tell you what, when I got these from my opticians, I also got a pair of prescription sunglasses to go with them. The sunglasses took a month to arrive. These took 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I didn't have to get onto no bus in the middle of a global viral pandemic and go to a shopping centre in the middle of a global viral pandemic, filled with a bunch of yahoos who had no idea what social distancing was, in order to get these. So I picked out 4 sets. These were the most expensive ones, but they were still kind of, inexpensive in comparison. These are my Oakleys. These are really nice.
Yeah, they are.
They're extremely comfortable. And a good fit. What do you reckon?
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Yes. They're
If
really nice.
you know how this works, you can click the links in the video description for a special offer from GlassesUSA.com. You can also find links to all of the glasses that I managed to get a hold of. So the Oakleys are great.
They look lighter. They make your face a little bit lighter than the Oakleys.
No, these are the Oakleys. Those are the Emporio
Oh,
Armani.
sorry. The Emporio Armani. I never said I was good at this.
But I also got... I thought these would be quite good for gaming, because they're basically exactly what they're designed for.
I've been wanting to get a pair of those.
So these, very 1980s.
Yes. Suits you, sir.
But as well as having the blue light filter, I don't know if you can see, they're of a sort of yellow tint.
Look at... Doesn't really...
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, alright.
That's a high contrast setting. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody doing professional shooting.
Yes, I have.
Their safety glasses are usually yellow tinted.
Yeah,
and it's for exactly the same purpose, high contrast. Just give it that little bit of extra edge in a fast-paced first-person shooter. Or third-person shooter, for example. So I got those, and again, they're very comfortable. And ridiculously affordable. I also, because I picked 4 sets, I thought I'd get a pair of prescription sunglasses.
Now we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Well, they're not Ray-Bans, but they look like Ray-Bans.
Yes.
Prescription sunglasses.
And they look really nice on you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Most of these frames were less than $100.
Jesus.
Like I said, I wish this sponsorship had turned up 6 months ago. And last but not least, because the first pair of glasses that I got for myself, that I actually paid money for, that weren't National Health Service here in the UK, cheap plastic frames, were a pair of, you know, when you see pictures of John Lennon?
Yes.
They're really
those rounded glasses.
Yeah, rounded frames. They're really difficult to get a hold of. Everybody seems to be going for the square frames these days, and I've been for a while, but this was the closest I could get. The Harry Potter look.
It looks good on you.
Of course it does.
It makes it look a little bit more eccentric. In a good way. In a really good way.
But anyway, I was really happy with all of these. The best part was, of course, you don't have to leave the house and go to opticians in a shopping mall full of people who have never heard of social distancing in the middle of a global viral pandemic. You could do it all from home. The only thing you can't do is have an eye test.
Yeah.
You have to see an optician for that. But they've got a virtual mirror, so you can try them on. You can upload a picture of yourself or have a picture taken via your webcam, and then virtually see what they look like on your face. So if you have your prescription, you can just upload it to their website. Or if you don't have your prescription, they have an app that you can download onto your phone. I know it doesn't work in the UK, unfortunately. It seems to be region locked. It definitely works in the USA and possibly a whole bunch of other countries, just not here. So I couldn't actually test the app out for myself, but apparently you load the app onto your phone and then you just use the phone's camera to take an image of your existing glasses, and it gets your prescription from that.
That's amazing. Wow.
So yeah, what a time to be alive. New sets of glasses from glassesusa.com, and if you check the link in the video description, you know how this works by now. There's a special offer that you can also get from glassesusa.com, as well as links to all of the glasses that I've been wearing today. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep these ones on for now.
Look really good on you.
Of course they do.
I like that look.
Oh yeah.
I've seen you with like a rectangle, square-ish shape. I've never seen you with a round one, and I'm digging that. It's really nice.
Anyway, moving on swiftly.
It's been a minute since we made one of
it's
these
been
together.
A while.
Yeah.
You're usually in bed.
Yeah, I've been going to bed really early recently.
Or staying up streaming really late.
Yes, as well. Yes.
Yeah, so I've had to do Mingles with Jingles by myself. I kept saying, maybe next week we'll get Rita back.
Oh, come on.
You can hear it, it's like a chainsaw being
Oh,
moved.
come on. I've been having breathing problems.
It's not that bad. Anyway, she's back. We're not going to be doing it this way every week. Some people like this format, some people don't, some people prefer the other format. There's no pleasing everybody all the time.
And every now and then we can insert Eddie as well.
Yeah, every now and then we'll bring Eddie in. Eddie is busy making, because you know he makes his own cider.
Yes.
He's also making his own pickles. And now he's making his own mead.
All right.
And he's had labels made for it.
I've seen those. Yes.
Old Man Jingles mead. Yes. I've just seen them. They're really good.
The labels, they're going to be amazing when they see it. So don't tease too much though.
Yeah, the next time Eddie comes on, he wants to have some of his own stuff to drink, as opposed to, stuff that you just buy from the shops. So there's that. Speaking of Old Man Jingles, you might have noticed that I have started a new YouTube video, as I threatened to a couple of weeks ago. New YouTube video? New YouTube channel. England is hard. My language, you'd think I'd be able to speak it properly. I'll tell you what, making cooking videos is hard work.
All right.
And it's mostly to do with the lighting.
I see what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever, because I was inspired to do this while the kitchen was being rebuilt. I was looking at various different cooking channels on YouTube, And one in particular, Binging with Babish, that I'm sure a lot, I mean, he's got millions of subscribers. I'm sure if you're into cooking at all, you've probably heard of him. And his videos are incredibly professional. But that's basically because his kitchen is also a studio.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean he films in his kitchen. As I discovered very quickly when I tried to film in our new kitchen, you need a lot of light. You either need to shoot in daylight or you need a lot of lighting. As you can quite clearly see in the very first video that we filmed, where I was just pulling a Mexican dish out of the oven and tasting it. And the lighting was terrible. The sound was awful, because apparently...
And the camera woman was even worse.
Yeah. 'Cause apparently kitchens are really noisy places.
Yes.
Which is one of the reasons why when you see cooking videos on YouTube, a lot of the time there's no audio. Just somebody talking over the video. And everything is perfectly lit. So I've had to spend some money on some lights, because unfortunately our kitchen was never... We just wanted a kitchen. We didn't want a film studio. Oh, it's a lovely kitchen.
It is.
But was never set up as a film studio, so the lighting in there isn't good. So I've had to spend a fortune on key lights. But you know, it should all pay off.
I like how I'm able to reach things in the kitchen.
Oh yes.
I used to. You never knew this. You never met this Rita. Because I used to cook regularly, basically almost on a daily basis. Yeah,
you had to, otherwise you'd starve, Rita.
No, not like that, Paul. But yes. But I used to cook on a regular basis, on proper meals. It wasn't just like make me sandwich or anything like that.
I don't believe it.
No, seriously, I used to.
I believe that your definition of proper meals is ramen noodles.
No, it was not ramen noodles. I actually properly made meals on a regular basis. As soon as I came to the UK, I was like, oh, I'm going to cook these, I'm going to cook that. And I'm like, I reached the kitchen, I'm like,
You sure it wasn't because I just cooked everything?
That also helped. Everything is pre-made in this country.
For people who aren't hobbits.
And third, I could not reach a single thing in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
we had to hammer a nail into the wall at, like, chest height for me, where we could hang one pot so she could use it to cook things with.
Like a little tiny pot.
Yeah, and then she never did.
I remember now. It was 3 times a year.
Yeah, okay. Not she never did.
I'll cook an onion for you.
Yeah, every now and then I get a birthday onion cake or something. Yeah.
But I even had an old nanny's stool, like with the ladder.
Step ladders. Just to get to the pots and pans.
Just to reach the things, and I don't need that, and it's amazing. So today I got myself a piri sauce.
Yes.
I'm slowly getting the ingredients, and I'm going to be cooking you some things.
Oh, okay, I look forward to it. Challenge accepted. Give me a day off. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, PC gaming news. There's actually been a couple of developments this week.
All right.
Have you ever played World of Tanks on console?
Some time ago. Yeah, it was alright.
I had a go with it on the PlayStation 4 because it's free to play. It was
before the mercenaries thing, so it was less clownish.
Well, that was when I had a go of World of Tanks Mercenaries, as it's known on the console. I got an email just very recently, like yesterday, from a guy called John. And apparently, and I haven't actually had a chance to fully research this, so if you are aware of any details that I'm missing out here, by all means let us know in the comments. But apparently, the current lead designer on console, Jeff Gregg and his team, are trying to impose a new mechanic into the console version of World of Tanks called True Vision. Basically, this is a copy and paste of Gaijin Entertainment's War Thunder Vision mechanic.
Okay.
Where everything is rendered, all the vehicles are rendered into the world.
Okay.
For everybody at the start of the game. And if you have line of sight, you'll see them, regardless of how far away they are.
All right.
Which means you can shoot at them, regardless of how far away you are. Now, I realise a lot of people don't like the spotting mechanics in World of Tanks.
Yeah.
And for them, this might seem like a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's not quite that simple.
I already see where this is going.
Yeah. So yes, tanks are rendered in game at the start of the match. This is too. It's just too dark. Put an actual pair of glasses on. Yeah, tanks are rendered in the game at the start of the match, meaning if you have direct line of sight of the enemy tank up to 750 metres apparently in game, so way beyond the current spotting range in World of Tanks PC, for example, or currently in World of Tanks console, you can see the tank on your screen and you can shoot at that tank, no matter what the view range is described for your tank in game. Yeah. So this applies to all tanks, light tanks, tank destroyers, heavies, mediums and artillery, and the normal World of Tanks sighting rules only apply if the tank is behind a bush or in some kind of concealment. So this basically renders all camo skills, all camo skins on tanks. Your camo net, your binoculars, your coated optics are almost entirely useless unless you're hiding in any of the very few bushes that actually work on the console version of the game. So this True Vision system has been tested before for a weekend. A lot of people have apparently made it very clear on the forums that they do not want this in the game, but they're being basically ignored.
Nothing new.
Yeah, the community have spoken and the developers have completely ignored them, and it's being imposed on them again this weekend just past, the 16th to the 20th of October, for more testing. Here's the kicker though. They don't have a test server on console.
Yeah.
So this is on the live server. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what to think of that one, because I can kind of see the point.
Yeah.
Because the spotting mechanics in World of Tanks usually get criticised very heavily by people who don't understand the spotting mechanics.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you understand the spotting mechanics, you understand the interaction between the view range of your vehicle, the camo rating of your vehicle, how concealment works, what difference a camo net, coated optics, and things like that have. It raises the skill ceiling. So if you understand how all of that works, you can absolutely exploit it for advantage. And if you don't understand how it all works, you just go onto the forums and complain that the spotting mechanics are broken.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see why they might want to do something like that, but at the same time I can definitely understand why the community... Hello, Juicy. Hello, Juicy Cat.
No.
I can totally understand why the community would be against it, for exactly all of those reasons. If you've spent money on premium camo skins for your tank...
As well. And it's not just that, map dimensions.
Yeah.
It's... World of Tanks versus War Thunder, when it comes to map dimensions, is a little bit different.
That might work in War Thunder because the maps tend to be bigger.
Much bigger. Not in World of Tanks.
Maybe not so much in World of Tanks.
World of Tanks maps are too crammy.
Yes. Anyway, let us know what you think about that one in the comments. Hello, Juicy. Welcome to Mingles with Zoozles. How you doing?
Zoozles.
Hello, big plumptious ginger beauty cat. How you doing?
She just wants to say hi.
She just wants to be the centre of attention.
She might.
She's going to... Yep, she's going to make herself comfortable. We shall see.
Yes, hi, Jojo.
Oh, have you heard about the Oculus Quest 2?
Oculus Quest? No.
So, this caused a bit of a fuss. Although this part is old news, because it turned out that there was some kind of deal with Facebook.
Okay.
Where if you wanted...
Wait, like Oculus Rift?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got the Oculus Rift, which is now old technology.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Oculus Quest 2, I think, is the latest and greatest VR headset system. But you must have a Facebook account.
All right.
I don't know why it's necessary to have a Facebook account in order to wear a VR headset, but apparently those good folks at Facebook and Oculus know more about this than we do. But this caused a big fuss because, I mean, I have a Facebook account because I'm old. Right? And the only reason I got a Facebook account was because it was considered to be something of a necessity at the time. And then when I started putting videos up on YouTube, it was a useful way because a lot of people at the time still used Facebook.
Yeah. And
it was a useful way to notify people who maybe didn't have notifications turned on YouTube that I'd uploaded a new video. And it was just another way to interact with my community. And still is. But Facebook is... It's for old people these days. My mum's on Facebook, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Right.
My grandparents
that
use Windows 95 are there.
They're on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I can completely understand why people would not want to use Facebook. I'm sure a lot of you do not use Facebook, but you must have a Facebook account if you want to use an Oculus Quest. So this ruffled a lot of feathers a couple of months ago when this was announced, and it's just ruffled a lot more. This from PC Gamer's website. Imagine being banned from an online service that's required to use a new $300 plus piece of hardware that you just bought. Unfortunately, some early adopters of the Oculus Quest 2 don't need to have a vivid imagination because they're living through the frustrating experience right at this very moment.
Wow.
In order to use the Oculus Quest 2, users are required to have a Facebook account, as Oculus outlines in a frequently asked questions file. Users who have an Oculus account also have the option of merging it with their Facebook account, but either way, Facebook is a requisite for using the second generation Quest headset. The arbitrary requirement, because there's no logical reason why, I mean, the Quest is going to work whether you have a Facebook account or not. So this is clearly a business arrangement between Facebook and Oculus. But this arbitrary requirement has already been a cause of consternation for some people, which is now made worse by some early hiccups in the setup process. Got my Quest 2 today and created a new Facebook account with my real name, never had one previously, and merged my 4-year-old Oculus account with it. Promptly got banned 10 minutes later, and now cannot access my account or use my device, a user on Reddit complained. The user went on to state that they were asked to provide a photo of their driver's license. What? To verify their identity. So this was
People are just trying to play games.
Yeah, so this is Facebook saying, we need to see your driver's license. Would have been my response, but hey, he went ahead and did it. But it didn't work, nothing happened. Here's the error message they received. Your account has been disabled. You can't use Facebook because your account or activity on your account didn't follow our community standards. We have already reviewed this decision and it can't be reversed. So within 10 minutes, within 10 minutes of creating a Facebook account and doing nothing on it, not making any posts, not doing anything, just setting up the account because he had to have one, it was banned for violation of community standards guidelines. Others claim to run into the same or similar issues, with multiple Quest 2 owners referring to their headsets as basically paperweights at this point. Facebook said, this is the good part, people who are having trouble logging into their device aren't losing access to their purchased content. No, they just can't access it.
Yeah.
Based on what we're seeing in customer service reports, someone may temporarily experience an issue accessing content if they have trouble logging into Quest 2 with their Facebook account, but they will be able to access their content once those login issues are resolved. Yeah, but those issues can't be resolved.
Yeah.
Remember the whole, we have already reviewed this decision and it can't be reversed thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as the issue's resolved, you'll be okay, but you're refusing to resolve the issues. It gets worse. Facebook says anyone running into problems setting up their Quest 2 headset and or merging accounts should submit a troubleshooting ticket to Oculus support. Or in other words, it's our fault, but it's not our problem. Go and complain to Oculus.
Yeah. That's crazy. People are just genuine. People are just trying to play games.
Yeah. You just want to buy the hardware, plug it in and play the game. But why do you need a Facebook account? You know what this sounds like to me?
What?
This sounds like a really good reason to not buy an Oculus Quest 2.
Too much of a hassle, too much of a risk. It's too much. It's too expensive. That's the problem. You're putting too much money down for the too high a chance that you won't be able to use it. Yeah.
And I mean, we were quite early adopters of VR with the Oculus Rift, and I really enjoyed Lone Echo. And what was that one you played? Super Hot.
Yeah,
where nothing happened as long as you stayed still.
I sweat so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was fun.
And the falling part, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I was worried at first that, and because there are certain games that work incredibly well in VR. Star Trek Bridge Commander.
That was alright.
That was okay, but we're just doing the same thing over and over again, just with different types of ships shooting at you. It got kind of boring after a while. And that was my issue with VR. Because am I enjoying this just because of the novelty of being in VR, or is this actually a good game? And in the case of Lone Echo, it was a good game, but so many of the other VR titles were just riding the wave of the VR gimmick.
Yeah.
They weren't
innovating.
If they weren't in VR, you wouldn't be playing
Yeah.
them. And that situation, to my knowledge at least, hasn't really improved through the various different generations of VR hardware. So, I mean, our Rifts have sat in storage for about a year and a half.
I have not played in mine. I can't even
Nope.
remember the last time.
I was tempted to get it out and have a go at Star Wars Squadrons in VR.
Alright.
An Elite Dangerous is
Ooh.
incredible in VR. The only problem is it's incredible until you're trying to use the Galaxy map, at which point it just becomes unusable and you end up doing that to look down at your keyboard.
Yeah.
But anything where you're sitting in one place. What was the other one? What's that? By CCP Software from Iceland. It's basically a spreadsheet in space, and people. It's a
remember,
space MMORPG. Come on, help me out here. It's not Elite. I'm going to have to cut this out until the point where I actually remember what the name of the game is.
No. Eve?
Yes,
Oh, yeah!
that was it. Yes, Rita just remembered. Eve Online. Not Eve Online, but Eve Online, Eve Valkyrie. That was great in VR because you're sitting inside the cockpit of a ship and you're looking around the cockpit and
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Star Wars Squadrons looks like it'll be a lot of fun in VR. I've got a friend who's played it and recorded it and put a couple of videos up, and you can see the fun he's having. But do I really want to drag the headset out of storage and set up all of the sensors just for Star Wars Squadrons? It's perfectly fine played on a 4K monitor.
Yeah.
You know, the VR would add to the experience, but it's not a selling point.
What the one thing I have to thank VR for is that I widened this room. I got rid of so much crap to have the space to play it.
Yeah.
And
Because otherwise,
I'm still working on that.
otherwise you were punching bookcases.
I actually punched the ceiling.
Yeah. How did you reach the ceiling?
I jumped.
Were you standing on a beanbag or something?
No, I jumped. That's why.
Anyway, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. She was getting really excited.
Oh no! Don't tell them. Oh!
It's like 2 days and then Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out, and I wasn't really listening. I was like, yeah, okay, right. What? What do you mean 2 days? It's coming out on the 10th. Yeah, the 10th of November.
I was so disappointed.
Next month. I was listening in while she was streaming. She was telling everybody on stream, oh, I'm so excited. I'll be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and I'll be able to pet Norwegian forest cats in 2 days. And I can't believe nobody on the stream told you. Or maybe they did, you just weren't paying attention.
No one corrected me, which I'm very surprised because it's the internet.
Yeah. Actually, Rita. So I had the pleasure of breaking the good news to her.
Have to wait a month.
Yeah, well, it's not
Just
that
2
long
weeks
now.
now. Yeah.
Not that long. I am looking forward to it. But they recently published a gameplay video. Do you remember the last time they published a gameplay video? It didn't actually have any gameplay in it.
Oh, yeah.
It was all pre-rendered stuff.
I had forgotten about that. Yeah.
Well, they did just publish a gameplay video that actually contains some gameplay this time. And also goes into very great detail about the game's minimum and recommended specifications. So, are you ready for this?
All right.
The bare minimum with low detail 30 frames per second at 1080p will require an AMD Ryzen 3 1200 or an Intel i5 4460 capable of at least 3.1 or 3.2 GHz respectively. You'll need 8 GB of RAM and a 4 GB AMD R9 380 or GTX 960 graphics card. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anybody can, well, not anybody, but most people should have no problem meeting the minimum recommended specifications. That's for 1080p gaming, 30 frames per second. Right at the other end of the scale, however, for ultra detail and 4K resolution.
Oh, they are doing 4K?
They're doing 4K.
Oh.
It will need a Ryzen 7 3700X with running at 3.6 GHz or an Intel i9 9700K at 3.6 GHz, and that's not actually that bad. You'll need 16 GB of RAM with an 8 GB RX 5700 XT or RTX 2080 GPU. Naturally, a solid state drive with 50 GB free is also required. Actually, I forgot to mention, for the minimum specification, you can install it on a hard drive, but they recommend a solid state drive with 50 GB free. So I should be able to run it at 4K and ultra settings with no problems.
Oh my god. I'm going to be so jealous.
That'll be nice. Well, if I ever get my hands on a 3080, you will inherit the 2080.
I know.
And you will also be able to run
Maybe this year.
Maybe this year I'll actually get my 3080. Did you hear what happened? So, Jingles, everybody said, don't get a 2080 Super. Just wait 2 weeks and get yourself a 3080. 2 weeks, right. So I waited. Obviously I didn't get one in the initial rush. Nobody did unless they were selling them on eBay for thousands of dollars. But I wanted to see what the reviews were like, and also I was anxious because I only have a 650 watt power supply and these cards draw 320 or 340 watts of power by themselves.
Yeah.
That I might need a new modular power supply, 750 watt. And then it turned out that there were brands of these cards that you should be able to run quite easily on my system with a 650 watt PSU. Specifically, the one that I was after was the Asus RTX 3080 TUF, which I think stands for the Ultimate Force, which is bizarre because it's not their best. the ROG, the Republic of Gamers cards, are more... whatever, anyway. I should be able to run that one fine. So I went to overclockers.co.uk and I placed an order. And I was put into a queue. So a couple of weeks ago, they sent me an email letting me know my position in the queue for one of these cards. 1,300 and something. And I thought, shit. Well, alright, I wasn't in any great rush. I can run pretty much everything in 4K resolution on ultra settings anyway. Fine, I'll wait. 2 days ago, I got another email from them updating my position in the queue. In 2 weeks, I moved up 150 places. So, if I'm lucky, I might have a new graphics card for Christmas.
You might have one this year.
I might have one this year. Yeah, and you'll have my 2080.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla in 4K. Well, not in 4K because you don't have a 4K monitor, but in ultra detail
How much is a 4K monitor?
You don't have to spend a lot of money. The one I got was about £150.
What? Alright.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not expensive, and it's a decent
definitely
monitor.
Upgrading.
Yeah, I mean you can spend thousands on a 4K monitor if you want.
I can give my second monitor to.
I'm sure Eddie would like it.
Yeah.
So there you go. Everyone's a winner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's about it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles.
Yeah,
it's been a rough ride, but we finally have the kitchen. I can finally start, cooking good stuff.
You've been cooking so well. Oh my god, the meals he's been making. Do check his other channel, Old Man Jingles.
Yeah, I'm trying to put something up every week, but it's difficult.
Yeah, he works a lot.
It is difficult. I mean, I'm busy with the regular channel, plus it's real difficult to cook something while trying to get film of what it is that you're doing to a professional level. You'll see the improvement over the first video and the one I did myself.
Wow. Jingles got this massive new camera and it's so heavy. It's very hard for me to keep stable with it. And the funny thing is, it has a stabilization software in it.
And it was still shaking.
It was still shaking. Yeah.
She arrived here from the Netherlands. She was small, but I'm fierce and strong. Oh, it's heavy. No, I'm going to use this little one instead.
Oh yeah, my camera is about this size.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's better than the previous one, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not as good as my new one though, which is what we're filming this.
No, it's massive. Yeah.
This one's huge.
Huge, sir.
Yeah.
Enormous.
That's what they all say to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, take care, folks. Don't forget, glassesusa.com. Do check the link in the video description where you can get a special offer if you head over to their website. And you can also get the links to all of the glasses that I got from glassesusa.com. They're all down there in the video description. In the meantime, it's good night from her.
And good night from him.
Hey!
She remembered.
She remembered.
Good about you.
Take care, folks.
See ya.